Hey, it's Roman, and today I'm going to be breaking down the various parts of Here Comes the Rain Again by the Eurythmics. This is a huge production and lots of interacting elements that just make it relatively timeless, I think. So one of the main things that you'll hear in the song that sort of like is a hook is this ARP part that starts right at the top and goes through the intro, and then it happens again in the second verse, and then again at the end of the song. So this is in the second verse. It's a different chord, I think. Yeah, so this was tricky just because there's so much like little things going on in the harp to get the notes right, and as they come in and out. And then at the end, it's just got the same thing again from the beginning with a little bit of variation in it. So that's that. The next thing that's very recognizable is this bass part, which is it's just super cool. And for this, I used an Oberheim called an SEM from Arturia. They make a whole bunch of amazing synths, soft synths. And so this is as close as I could get with the sound. I had to do a bit of messing around, but there were a few rabbit holes that ended up going down with this project where I would just get stuck just trying to get that bass sound or trying to get the ARP to sound right, which still doesn't sound right to me, but it's just as close as I could get. Another hook is the pizzicato strings. And together with the ARP and the bass sound pretty awesome. And that's a big part of the... Sorry, I got to start from the top. And that's the sort of core of the intro, which is just very creative. So another thing is this string sort of throughout the song just to tie everything together. And I had a heck of a time getting this to sound properly articulated, and also even just the reverb sound. I sort of had many remixes of this as I would listen to it. You know, as you add compression, it changes the way that the reverb sounds, and the EQ and everything. It was a bit of a headache, but I think it's okay. No, it's good enough. So there's also this other synth that is at the top and also in the sort of musical interlude that is... It's another Arturia. So this is the CS80. It's a Yamaha sort of recreation, which is beautiful to look at and somewhat terrifying. But as long as you stick with the presets, you'll be safe, I think. And so let's listen to that musical interlude here. Yeah. Yeah, I just love that melody line, and sounds like the synth has got this a little bit of out of tune thing, which I'm into more and more as I get older. It's from listening to too much Aphex Twin or something in Boards of Canada. So there's also an end synth that is over here. And what is this one? Oh, it's another CS80. So I used a different patch for the CS80. And this is just something that's in the background at the end. And I think it goes up higher. Yeah. And it really just, takes things up a notch there. So there's this also, like, sort of little jangle thing. And this was probably the most frustrating thing for me. I can hear what is happening in the original, but I just couldn't figure out how to recreate it exactly. So I ended up using a synth and the guitar, like a real electric guitar, together to give it that effect. And that's just, I don't know, it's the best I can do. So the other thing with these, and then at the end of each chorus, there's this little section where it makes this sound. And again, so I used a triangle and then a synth that had a bit of a thing to it to try my best to fake that. So that's that. I think we haven't actually listened to the drums yet. So the drums start off, there's this 16th note snare thing. Oh, where is it? Oh, no, there it is. And it kind of like comes up and down, and it with the arp together kind of become like one thing that kind of rises and falls. And then we have our regular sort of drum beat, which is like classic 80s drum machine. And again, I had a heck of a time like figuring out what kind of reverb to use on that snare, and I ended up using a kind of a crappy sounding spring reverb, like the crappiest one I could find. And it just works. So that with the bass sound, and then you have the rhythm section. So that's pretty groovy. And then if you know this song, you'll know in the chorus, there's a delay on the vocal in the chorus, which I split onto two different tracks. So the Talk to Me that has the delay on it is on a different track. And I did my best to sort of match those together.
And walk with me like lovers do.
And of course there's the shoo-wops, which are down here.
Shoo up, 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 shoo up.
They're kind of like a bit cheesy, but with the way the song is just so mysterious, it adds to that feeling of whatever it is that this creates. I don't know, but I do love it. So I think that's relatively all the parts. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or songs that you want me to look at, I'm curious about doing more of this kind of thing. So I'm just going to play the whole song from the beginning with all the parts, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Tragedy.